Wishing you 新年快乐，恭喜发财. Now I'm actually shooting this video ahead of Chinese New Year because I'm also resting during that period. Let's keep it fun and let's keep it related to investment subjects. Today I prepared for you 12 different investment ideas to suit the 12th zodiac, and definitely one of which belongs to you, correct? And as always, this is not investment advice because one of which is going to be a cryptocurrency that is meant to be a meme, and if you know about it already, don't give it away. So without further ado, let's dive onto things and roll in the intro video. Hi guys, welcome back. First and foremost, this year is Tiger year, so let's start with Tiger. The most prominent tiger in the financial landscape is definitely Tiger Brokers, correct? And it's traded on Nasdaq on the ticker TIGR. The company name listed on Nasdaq is actually Up Fintech Holdings Limited. If you see the share price for the last 12 months, quite horrific, correct? Ever since March 2021, it's been sliding down tremendously, losing 80 to 90% of share price from its peak to right now. So let's put on a secondary name for Tiger fans because this is your year. So one extra one for you. And I have this to suggest. How about Hoppa? Hoppa actually owns Tiger Balm, which is world renowned. You know, in Singapore, we think nothing much of Tiger Balm, I guess. But actually, this product, this medicine is distributed all over the world. Hoppa is actually controlled by Wee family and they've actually been the owners since 1981. Right now, if you invest in the Hoppa, your dividend yield is about 2.5 to 3%. And just to show you the dividend history for Hoppa, very consistent, correct? And they've actually stepped up in recent years. So this brand actually has, what we call an investment mode, because its product has its fans and its fans will keep buying it if the price is reasonable. And if we see the share price for Hoppa Corporation for the last 5 to 10 years, you realize that it's been pretty steady. So with that, let's move on to the second zodiac, which is actually Rabbit, right beside Tiger on the wheel. So one idea for Rabbit is definitely Playboy, correct? So Playboy is actually owned by PLBY Group. Founder is actually Hugh Hefner, and he's actually taken the company public again after delisting it 10 years ago. And right now, Playboy is actually evolving his business quite a bit. Let me share with you some of my findings. Its CEO, Mr. Ben Koh, has actually bought a company called Dream. And this is actually to accelerate its platform Centerfold.com. Centerfold.com is a competitor of OnlyFans. And it's an internet subscription service whereby content creators can earn money from users who subscribe to their content. And if you think about it, the potential of it on the metaverse space is huge. So as you know, this is a bit more adult of a topic, but today we are talking Chinese New Year. So let's not delve too deeply into it and move on to the next zodiac, which is actually Dragon. When we talk about Dragon, it's definitely linked to China, correct? And I've actually done a previous video over here, why I'm investing targeted 50,000 into the Chinese sector. And if you are keen to also invest in the China tech, simply look for Lion Global OCBC HS Tech ETF. This ETF is traded on SGX and it's traded in Sing dollar also. And let me share with you some updates. Right now, the top holdings you see JD.com, Sunny Optical, and Tencent. Alibaba has fallen to number 6 on the rankings list. And that's because Alibaba's share price has came down quite significantly over the last 1 year. On the whole, Chinese tech is still distressed, and that's why you see a share price for Lion Global OCBC HS Tech losing quite a bit in the last few months. But as I shared in that video for China, I do believe that a lot of risk is now priced into the market already. Whether this is the bottom or not, it's up to anyone's guess. But I think saying it as expensive, it's definitely difficult to justify. So if you're keen, I'll leave that video towards the end of this and we'll move on to the next zodiac, who is Snake. In reference to Snake, there are not many companies using that as a logo, but I've actually managed to find one, finally. And that company is actually Singapore-based. Do you know what is it? That is none other than Razer. Razer is led by Mr. Tan Ming Liang. And right now, if you haven't seen latest news, he is planning to delist Razer from Hong Kong's stock exchange to potentially release in future in New York for a higher valuation. His offer price of $2.82 is 44% above the closing price in October 28, 2021. However, that is still significantly below what they have listed on the stock market in 2017, whereby they actually priced the IPO at Hong Kong dollars $3.88. So I'll put up a quick remark here by Alvin Chow, who is CEO of Dr. Wealth. He's mentioned that he's a bit disappointed with Razer's delisting offer, and I kind of agree with it also. If you have bought into the IPO as a long-term shareholder, right now this delisting offer is definitely not something that you are too keen about, because this company has potential, it's still at a budding phase, and it's just that right now the prices are a bit suppressed. And with that, let's move on to the next zodiac after snake, which is horse. Now when we think about horses, it's none other than the prancing horse, correct? Ferrari's ticker code is RACE, race, and I found it quite interesting. Personally, I haven't tracked Ferrari's business too much, but it's quite obviously one of the premier brands in motor racing as well as car sales. And if we look at the share price over here, you realize that they've actually done very well, correct, over the last 5 years or so. If you want to buy Ferrari, they're listed on the Italian exchange and also on NYSE. And if you look for ticker RACE, you can actually find and buy their share. Top institutional shareholders for Ferrari include Baillie Gifford, which is an asset manager that I've covered before on this channel. And just as a further point to add for Ferrari, they actually hired a new CEO since July 2021. And his roadmap is to prepare Ferrari for a world of electric cars. And personally, I'm keen to see the first electric racing car coming onto the market soon. And with that, let's move on to the next zodiac, which is Goat. I've actually tried my best to find something for goat friends watching this video, but I really cannot find anything much. I'm sorry about it. The best I can find is Nestle, which is the biggest dairy company. And them being the biggest dairy company, they do naturally have goat milk products, correct? Some of which can even be consumed by children. But beyond that, there really isn't that many ideas for goats. So maybe I'll crowdsource. Leave any thoughts and comments in the sections below if you have an idea for our goat friends to get invested into. So after goat, let's move on to the next zodiac, which is monkey. Now, not many companies have monkey as a brand logo, but there is one that is right now building a lot of momentum. This company's short form is BAYC. Do you know what is it? If you know, you're probably in the NFT as well as the cryptocurrency space. That company is the Bored Ape Yacht Club. The Bored Ape Yacht Club is actually a collection of ape avatars that individually acts as tickets to an online social club. And right now, they are one of the biggest NFT brands. Mr. Steph Curry, this basketballer, has actually bought an NFT for himself, and its ticket price was $180,000. So don't underestimate this growing industry. It could really become big where influencers, celebrities, and athletes start throwing their weight behind the project. And it's totally conceivable to me that they'll become a mass market brand eventually. Now let's move on to the next zodiac after monkey, which is Rooster. Now Singapore used to have a company that I follow a bit. That company is Chews, but Chews has been delisted already. So when you think about Rooster, we think about chicken, correct? And which is the biggest chicken brand in the world? It's of course KFC. With that, let me present to you Yum Brands. Yum Brands not only owns KFC, they own Taco Bell's and Pizza Hut. And the interesting about Yum Brands is that they've been very consistent in driving profits. You see over here that they have produced dividends that have been growing for the last 10 years, correct? More than 10 years in fact. And that goes to show, food is a business that is not sexy, but it's gonna be there even for the next 10 years ahead. And if KFC raises their price by $1, I'm sure we'll still be going back to buy. So that is the power of having a very good consumer brand. And with that out of the way, let's move on to the next zodiac after Rooster, which is dog. When we think about dog, it has to be definitely Dogecoin, correct? Dogecoin has been splashed all over the internet. And when Elon Musk shows support for Dogecoin, you see its price spike. But the story for Doge in 2021 seems to be a bubble that has burst. And if you see the top, it was once $90, but right now it's only 19 cents. So for any investors who bought Doge at $90, then it's been a painful ride down. And of course, I know Doge has its own fan club, and many people still believe that it will still be widely adopted as a possible coin for commerce. And with that, we'll move on to the next zodiac after dog, which is pig. There's actually a company which once had a pig farming business. This company sold it away so that it can focus more on its bread business. Any idea who is it? That company is QAF Limited. QAF Limited, of course, owns Gardenia, which is a bread that I'm sure you are familiar with. But because it sold away its pig business, it cannot qualify for this idea. And that's why I brought in another idea to present to you, which is Hasbro. So what has Hasbro got to do with pig? Have you seen this cartoon before? Obviously you have, right? This is Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig's brand is huge among children, and it's one of Hasbro's many top brands. The other one is also something you will know, and that is none other than Transformers. So Hasbro has toys, board games, and media assets, and what I can present to you is as a dividend solution, it has also been very consistent. You see over here, year by year growth in dividends, correct? And just like Yum Brands, this is a very stable business. And having run 10 names already, let's move on to the next one, which is Rat. When I talk about Rat, I naturally gravitated to this cartoon, which is one of my favorite ones, which is Ratatouille. This is a story about a rat who has learned to cook. And because rats and kitchens are just worlds apart, this story is actually quite dramatic, yet also very funny. And it's also the inspiration behind a restaurant in Paris. If you go there, you can actually find this restaurant, and it actually even has a sign of Chef Remy hanging outside. So Ratatouille is actually owned by Disney. And Disney, as we know, is a very stable company with a wide investment mode. It has assets in media, it has assets in theme parks, it has assets in toys also. So like Hasbro, Disney is also a company that will be here for many years ahead, and it's possibly a solution if you are in the red zodiac. With that, let's move on to the last name for today, which is none other than Ox. The biggest Ox brand in the finance sector here has to be Moomoo. Moomoo is owned by Futu Holdings, and Futu Holdings is also listed on the New York Exchange. You realize over here in this chart, Futu Holdings and Up Fintech, which owns Tiger's platform, have both declined quite tremendously in the last 1 year, correct? This is due mainly to Chinese tech concerns, but if you believe that these platforms are revolutionary and they would definitely rebound at some point of time, Futu Holdings could be an idea that you could look closer into. So with that, I rounded up 12 investment ideas, one for each zodiac. And hopefully you found this entertaining also. And of course, always do your own investment research. This is mainly for entertainment, as well as throwing you ideas to think about for something that might fit you in the coming year ahead. With that, I'll sign off from here. Wishing you again 恭喜发财 and 新年快乐. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye. 恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀！恭喜恭喜恭喜你！